Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So this is going to be a two-part video again, as some of the races that we're interested in, the odds are not being priced up yet. Or they have, and we have an idea, but you can see that just the William Hill for this race, just William Hill again for this race, and just William Hill. Fair play to William Hill for getting their odds up. Hopefully some of the others can follow suit and get theirs up soon as well. So the two races that we are going to look at in this first video, the first one we are going to look at is the 240 at York, and there's a horse that I think is a standout here, to be honest. There was a few I was looking for, Gale Force Marla being one of them, doesn't run. Corker doesn't run. The horse that stands out to me is Summergand, and I actually highlighted him when he dropped £3 to 97. And I said that races at the Air Gold Cup, the Great St Wilfrid, and the Constantine Handicap. Now, the Constantine Handicap is at York, but it's in August. It's for 50 grand. It's over the same course and distance. And last year he won it, Summergand, and he won it off a mark of 97, which is the same mark that he would run off. However, the Constantine Handicap last year was for horses up to a mark of 110 they ran off. So Comanche Falls was running off 109, and the lowest rated horse was rated 92. Now Summergand is running tomorrow in a race where the highest rated horse is only rated 99 and the lowest rated horse is 78. So he's in against inferior opposition to what he normally runs against, particularly at York. Now I know there's some nice horses in this race, including Lethal Levi, who we've highlighted as a horse who's nicely handicapped. However, Lethal Levi actually ran in the Constantine Handicap last year as a 3-year-old, getting the allowances off 99 and was beaten 2 1/4 lengths. So it was beaten 2 1/4 lengths by Summergand, who was giving Lethal Levi, what was it, £2. Was giving him £2. Tomorrow will get £2 and beat Lethal Levi in that race. So I think the biggest danger for me, which was Lethal Levi, I've accounted for, and I think Summergand is going to take all of the beating here. And is it this way or that way? It is this way. Here we go. Let's just refresh this page to have a look at the prices. You can see Lethal Levi is like 15 to 2, as short as 6s. Summergand is 9s. I think Summergand should be a shorter price than Lethal Levi, and I actually think Summergand should be the favourite for this. I know Aberama Gold ran in this race last year and was 5th off an effective £5 high mark, ran off 90, runs here off 88, and Mark takes a further £3 off. But as I said, this was an easier race even last year. It was up to 104 down to 85. Well, Summergand's races that he normally runs in at York are for better horses than that. Summergand is nicely handicapped. Yeah, and I know he disappointed last time at York, but that was off 105. He's down £8 from that. You don't go off 14 to 1, go £8 lower, and still go off 9 to 1. I think he'll go off nearly favourite, if not favourite, Summergand, and I think he'll take all of the beating here. The ground, good to soft, good in places. I think that's fine for him. I think he can certainly act on that ground. He finished second in a Group 3 on good to soft in places, behind Rohan, beating Comanche Falls. You know, obviously Comanche Falls is a really good horse and has proven himself. So I think the fact that he was able to beat that horse and only lose to a Ascot specialist in Rohan on that similar ground, I think demonstrates that he can act on this going. That shouldn't be the reason he gets beat. The only reason I can honestly see him getting beat tomorrow, Summergand, personally, is if they were to try and get him dropped another couple of pounds and then look at winning 2 or 3 races again towards the end of the season, the Air Gold Cup being one of those, and back for the Constantine Handicap in a month's time. But I think for 33 grand, they might as well try and win this race. You know, if they win this and went up £4 and ended up running in the Air Gold Cup of 101, they'd still have a great chance in there. Yeah, I think Summergand is going to go really, really close here at 9 to 1. The second race that we can look at is the 3 o'clock at Ascot, the feature Moe and Shandon Handicap. Now obviously we've already highlighted one for this. I'm just going to pause the video and get the... Okay, let's find it. Here it is here. Blessing ran a good race for 4th at 28-1. This was last week, or 2 weeks ago, sorry. He finished 4th in the Bunbury Cup. He won it last year. He then turned up after winning last year to run in this race, the Moe and Shandon International Stakes, carrying a £3 penalty, so he's effectively running off a mark of 102, and he finished a short head second to Fresh. So he was effectively running off a mark of 102, and this year he will be running off a mark of 102. Fine. The winner last year, Fresh, actually ran off a mark of 98 that day, and he's going to be running off a mark of 101. So effectively, bless him, is actually £3 better off with Fresh. And Jamie Spencer is back on board. He didn't get to ride him last week or 2 weeks ago. Callum rode him, and he kind of rode him a little bit differently. I think with Jamie on, you're going to be waiting out the back and finishing fast. And, you know, he's got plenty of good form. He was second in this race, as I said, last year. He also ran a good race in the Royal Hunt Cup when he was 5th. He was 7th the year before. Nothing wrong with that. You know, he can act at Ascot. Just needs them to go fast enough, and I think they will, because it's a decent field. And I can see him running a really big race again. And he is currently, considering you look at Fresh down here at 6s and 7s, and even Biggles. Now, I know Biggles won the Bunbury Cup, but I thought things just went against Bless Him, and they worked out perfectly for Biggles. Whereas I think we're going to get a much closer run, and you can see that he's actually starting to be backed again now. Hopefully on a bigger price. He's available at 12s still. You could say 14s, you could say 16s, but he's definitely available at 12s. The second horse that I do want to have a look at in this race and have a bet on as well is Star of Orion. Now, Star of Orion ran in this race last year, and he was 17th off a mark of, what was he running off? A mark of 96. Now, this year he comes back carrying a penalty, and he gets to run off an effective mark, therefore, of 95. So he's only £1 lower. But he finished so far back. Why is that therefore appealing? Well, let's go back to the year before that. He turned up at this race 2 years ago off the back of a win, and he ran a good second, beaten by Dania. Now, Dania has actually subsequently won a Group 1, albeit at 40-1, sorry. But he's also won a listed race, Dania. And I just think that Star of Orion is in better form this year. They've come here off the back of a win, which they did 2 years ago. And after coming here off the back of a win, they finished second and beaten a short head. Last year, they kind of turned up in terrible form. I mean, his previous runs, he'd finished 14th at Newmarket in the Bunbury Cup. He finished 13th at Royal Ascot in the Royal Hunt Cup, the Buckingham Palace. He'd finished 8th at Ascot in the Victoria Cup. You know, his form wasn't there. Whereas this year, he dropped in the handicap. They got him back to winning ways at Newmarket, and he turns up in good form. And because of that, I think he's interesting. I think he's available at 20-1. And off the back of a win, and still nicely handicapped, he did go up to a mark of 102 after his second at Ascot in this race. Yeah, I think he will run a really nice race here. He actually ran off 97 in 2021. Laura took 5 off, so he was effectively running off 92. He's effectively running off 94. I think Rosso will effectively running off 95, sorry. Rosso can give him a good ride here, and I think he will go well. I think he'll run a really big race here now that he's back to form. And I think this is a better way of getting 2 races rather than getting them so well handicapped and dropping in the handicap and then turning up just bang out of form, though. That's what they did last year. This year they're turning up in good form. So he's available at 20-1 at Star of Orion, and the other one is Bless Him, who you can still back at 12s. Hopefully you've got on a bigger price. He was a bigger price earlier this week when it was obvious that he was going to be running here. So they are my 3 for the first part of the video. Summergand in the Skybet Dash at 9s, Bless Him at, let's say, 12s, and Star of Orion at 20s. Thanks for listening. There will be another part of the video where I will look at the 2:30 at Gowran, the 4:50 at Ascot, and the 5:25 at Ascot.